Alright, in this video I'll be going over how to model your HTC front. So I grabbed some image online along with looking at the three of your images. So the important one was the one that I was waiting for the shot you gave me. There's a very thin shadow line you can see right there. I'm just going to open this up right inside Photoshop so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm watching Photoshop right now, and I'm going to mark those exact areas I had just mentioned. So if I zoom in and look very carefully, I'm going to make my brush really small right here. Make that a hard brush. Make a new layer. This is the main line you see right here, so I'm using a bright red. That's the most obvious one. But if you look right underneath it, there's a shadow line. This shadow line lets you see how far this is raised from the screen on the bottom. Same one across here. If you pay very close attention, there's one very small thin line underneath it. That tells me that this black section of the piece is separated from that screen underneath. There's also a circle around this area that I have to cut out, and this is not exactly a perfect flat surface right there. I can't remember exactly if there was a raised surface or not around these areas because I can't see it too clearly with this image. I would have to see your phone, but I'll model this based off of what I see right here, meaning this pane of glass has to be modeled as a flat full surface. Then underneath it I have to model a black piece that has the cuts and whatnot, and make sure that both of them have this piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to model the harder piece first. I want to model with the circle here with that black film all across. Then I'll duplicate it and remove the extra loops to make my glass piece. This way it's just easier to work with. Okay, so I've gone online and grabbed a image of the front already, and here's your front, but it doesn't show me the actual depth and thickness behind this, so when you sent me the image, it's helped a lot. Okay, so I'm back in Maya now. I'm going to go to my top view and image plane, import image, and I'm going to go to the desktop and grab the phone front. View, select camera, Control A, image plane, and tear this off so you can see what I'm doing. Alpha gain down. And because I didn't match this perfectly in Photoshop, I might as well go in there now and make sure it's all perfectly aligned, because right now it's not perfectly aligned. Front. Press Control R for my rulers so they pop up. And I want to draw this line so it finds the center point. If I look at it, it does look pretty centered, but for some reason in here it doesn't feel like it. There's a possibility it was already shifted. No, it's not, so I'm going to move it by myself. I'm going to use these two red lines here as my guide. I'll slowly move it to the side. One is too high. Let's try 0.3. A little too high still, 0.2. Let's try 0.25, and that seems pretty good. I want it to be exactly in the middle, that way I can mirror the parts a lot better. And now I also want to move it on Y at a negative 200. Okay, so I want to close some of these things right here because they're just in the way. So I'm just going to close them. No more help line, no more time slider, no more command line, and let's kill the range slider too. This would give me a little bit more space where you can see. Alright, so the first things I'm going to pay attention to are the holes. So there's a hole right there, and the main hole right in the middle of the screen. Okay, that's not too bad. So let's start with our cylinder first. So polygons, cylinder. Again, we don't want to start from a I'm going to dock this back in here. we don't want to start from a 20-sided. And let's see how small that hole is. The hole looks pretty small and fairly harmless, but I'm still going to give it, either I'm going to go for 8 or I'm going to go for 16. Remember, those powers of 8. So I'm going to use 16 for this case. I'm going to move this over here. Match that up, scale it down. And I'm going to delete the parts I don't need. This case, I don't need the top or bottom. I'm taking these edges and extruding them out, just like so. And because I'm going to do all the thickness all at once, I'm going to get rid of the bottom. I just needed that circle right there. Now I have the circle, which makes it a little bit easier to work with. I'm going to take this and help me form this side over here. So I'm going to create another cylinder. This is also at 16. And my main concern this time is to match that radius. And there, that matches it pretty good. And I'm going to delete all the extra stuff I don't need. So, face, select, delete, delete. Again, don't need that. I want to make sure they're all in line. So I'm holding V down, snapping across. Okay, so at this point, if I were to go straight across, these don't match up perfectly, correct? Don't worry about those yet. So we're combining them. F3, combine. And I'm going to just take these, pull them out, and see where I can take them. So I'm going to take these top 4 here, extrude them straight up, hold V, snap them with that, so now their heights and everything match. Something I should have done was to make sure I had an extra cut inside, but I'd forgotten. So if this ever happens, you don't have to worry about it. Use your scale, D, V, down here, scale down. Now we can extrude back out, and you notice how that's not perfect? Scale, DV, right inside, out. What I'm going to show you is never be worried about this stuff. You can always fix it. And there we have that. What we want to do is we're going to extrude this straight across. And before I do any extrusions, I'm going to take this, I'm going to slide my edge down. This will allow me to insert all the extra loops I need right inside. So if I want to insert edge loop now, I can just do that safely wherever I want it to be. The reason for this is so I can take these guys over here, extrude them to this side. I'm going to hold J now, realign that, and I'm going to match it right across. I'm just holding V and dragging forward. Now I want to take these, I'm going to slide my edge so they get roughly line up. I'm going to insert another one. So snap that down, select around, edit, merge. Another thing I want to make sure is everything else has to be matching. Merge, 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 merge. And I'm going to do a normals conform. And I'm going to reverse my normals now. Okay, cool. So far so good. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Take these 4. I'm going to extrude them down. J, snap. Now I have this part of the screen. I want to make sure I have enough that I can create this perfect little section right here. If you look very carefully, these have to be sharp. When I press 3, what happens to these corners? They'll start rounding out. So you have support loops. And these right here will help me create those support loops. So again, I'm going to take this and slide my edge even further down. Insert an edge loop. Cool. I'll take both of these, extrude, J, snap, V forward, and I'm going to insert an edge loop roughly where it needs to go. The same for this. Pull that. This line isn't perfect, so I'm going to take this, move V down, so now they line up all nice. Select around each, merge, merge, merge. Now I have an extra line I want from here going across. Looks like these didn't merge like I wanted them to, so merge, merge, merge. I'm going to take this now, extrude, pull all the way out, insert an edge loop right underneath, grab this edge, V forward, merge, line is not straight so I'm pulling this back up, align those, merge these, and if you ever see a thick line, this means they're not perfectly matching. Just do a merge to center. I'm taking this and just snapping it up to match with that. Cool. I'm going to take all of these now, extrude down, V, this matches perfectly. If I look at this, I should get support loops now because I have enough lines across. Again, do not worry about how many lines you have. I want to insert another edge loop underneath. This will allow me to get all of these to match up. I'm going to extrude those, hold V, forward, merge, merge, merge. Hold V, pull this up so it's nice and smooth. Now we have just this side to worry about. Extrude. I'm going to hold X straight to the middle. Just like that. Now the top part. I don't like how much this stretches here. So I'm going to insert an edge loop purely to keep it in line. I'm going to take this, hold J, snap. Now when I press 3, it's a little bit more clean, and that's all I wanted it for. Okay, we also don't want any triangles, so I'm going to delete this, delete that, and we're free of our triangles. We just have quads at this point. Alright, awesome. Now I take this piece and model this little area right there. So if I look at that, that's a slight round corner. So I want to make sure I get that just right. And currently my wires don't exactly let me do that. So I'm going to change this geometry right up here. I'm going to take these two, extrude around there, V, pull back. I'm going to pull this over here. I'll pull this back over there. I'll just hold V so this matches up nicely. I'm going to extrude this all across, holding X, select around, merge. I'm going to take this piece here and neatly and nicely set it up right. Grab these edges, and I'm going to extrude. I'm going to use these offset and thickness commands. This is too far, so I'm going to put it at 0.02, which works pretty well. And I just want to grab this, hold V, pull down, and just like that, I have that slot. I'm going to use mesh, mirror geometry, to get the other half. I can do this right now, or I can wait. You know what, I'll just wait this time. I'm going to take these right here. I'm going to extrude, put all the way down. Just like so. Like I was concerned before, if I press 3 right now, it's going to round out kind of weird. So I'm going to have to insert a support loop right there. And I'll straighten it out and keep it nice and solid. The other problem is this part goes round out too, so I'm going to grab it in the support loop, insert and run right inside. When I press 3, it keeps its shape. Want to make sure it keeps it all nice, all you have to do is make sure you do those little steps. See right here, if I look at it, this might run it out a bit more, and if you don't want that, just insert a support loop. The line looks wavy, just grab all those lines, hold J, scale. And now those keep the shape that we need. Always insert another one right inside so there's less stretching. Hold J to straighten that. And do the same right here. Same right here. Now our corners stay pretty sharp. I'm going to insert another one to make sure it really holds the shape. Alright, the bottom here is quite similar to the top of these, with the exception of the little top piece, so I don't see a reason why you have to make that whole bottom part by hand. Or we could, it's really up to you. So I'm just going to duplicate this and use the top part again down here, because I just don't see a purpose of doing it twice. So I'm going to grab this right here, press X, move up, take this piece, mesh, mirror geometry. I'm going to flip it on Z, do a negative. I see that didn't work out as well as I planned, so I'm going to try negative Y. Weird. X. When I get the other side, oh, Z goes up, so I'm going to do positive Z at the bottom. I'm going to delete this half. I don't need this half. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start cleaning everything. I'm going to shift this whole line up to where it needs to be, and this whole section where it should be. Change the parts I don't need. I don't need this line, for example. Delete edge vertex, which you can find under edit mesh, delete edge vertex. And I also don't need how this is done right here. So I'm just going to delete all of it. Along with this one right here, just to make it easier on myself. And I'm going to grab this whole line, extrude, hold V once, extrude again, move, hold V, select around, merge. I also don't need the hole anymore, so the hole can be gone at this point. So this saves a lot of extra polygons, because that means we don't need this edge, or this edge, or this one. to the edge vertex, which we're just left with this little tiny hole here. Delete edge vertex again for these. Now we just have a hole left. How do we kill this hole? We close it up first. You fill the hole. Then you can remove, and then you can actually split the polygons where they're supposed to go. Now they're connected together. Double click on these edges. Delete edge vertex. And there you go, they're gone. Now let's make sure everything's nicely aligned. I'm going to hold V, move it across, down, pointing at the vertex I want it to follow. This keeps the lines nice and straight. Awesome. I'm going to take this now and I'm going to mirror it. -X. All of that's good, except for this little area right here, which again we can do the same exact thing. Delete all of that. Extrude V V. Merge. Grab all the extra stuff we don't need. Do the edge vertex again. Fill your hole. Split polygon. Delete edge vertex. Realign. I got rid of more than I should have, so I'm just going to undo. I shouldn't have gotten rid of that little hole there. We actually need that. See if I have enough undos. And doesn't seem like I do, so I'm just going to delete and recreate that. I actually need that slot. This wasn't perfectly aligned, so I'm just going to shift this, move it across over here. I only really need to get rid of this. So I'm going to keep this line here, because that's actually useful. Delete edge vertex. Again, I get rid of those. Fill the hole, split polygon, add those back, delete edge vertex, V, seems like these aren't perfectly aligned with each other either. So I'm going to start fixing some of these so they all look nicer. But before all that, let's merge our verts. There, this way. I'm going to grab this all the way over here, hold V, and match it up. And the rest are nice and straight. Okay, awesome. Let's merge these vertices and these. And I press 3 right now. I go to my shaded view. See that we have the exact panel. There's also nothing in real life that's actually this flat. So we're not going to keep it exactly that flat either. Also, I'm going to insert more support loops, one right there, one right here. I like my support loops to be straight, so I'm just straightening that out. Okay. So I'm going to use this piece to create my glass piece above. So I'm going to duplicate it, Move it up slightly, just so there's separation of some sort. And for this piece, I'm going to delete half. And I'm going to go over here and adjust this. Actually, I shouldn't delete half. They both have the hole. No, the glass doesn't. So, the glass doesn't have that hole. I'm going to close this entire hole up. To make my life a little bit easier, I'm removing all the support loops, because I don't need them anymore. Don't need this one. Or this one. And I'm just going to grab all these lines, extrude, move all the way down. Hold V. There we go. And we need to make all the extra lines for this. So I'm going to go to Insert Edge Loop. I'm going to eye them. Don't worry, we're going to fix the exact position. Hold V, move it in. And now you just have to go right in here, insert another edge loop. Hold V, match that up, zoom out, select around, merge. And now that we have that, we don't need this line anymore. Actually, we can use those lines. Those lines are actually kind of useful. I'm going to move this just closer here as a support loop, and that's what I'm using them as now. Support loops. That way when I press 3, smooths all nice. I'm going to take this now and I'm just going to mirror it in positive X. And I'm going to select around, merge. And once again, I duplicate this piece, lower, press this button here, so I can single it out. And this is going to be even more different than the previous one. I'm going to select around the top, delete all of that, take this piece, mirror geometry, -Z, apply. Let's make sure we can show our image underneath so we can actually see what's going on. I'm going to grab all of these and move them up. And I'm going to use this little trick. I'm going to go here, turn on retain component spacing, press DV, snap my pivot up above. I want it to snap it exactly to that vertex right there. And I'm going to hold V now, turn on my wireframe, move this up so it matches the top piece. So these are 3 layers you need to make. Turn off that. I'm going to turn off the grid so it's easier for you to see. Here's the glass, the black piece, and the actual screen underneath. So to make it easier for you, I'm going to make these different shaders so it's a lot easier to see, but I'm going to make them a bit thicker. So here's the glass piece. I'm just going to extrude this, pull it down, and I'm going to look back at your image to guess how thick the glass is. Glass is actually fairly thin, so I'm keeping it pretty thin here. Okay? Then I need to also make bevels, because if I don't, it rounds out too much. So I'm going to cut this right in half, shift right click, come on, bevel. That gives me the support loops I need. Cool. Let's give it a different shader. I'm going to first delete all by type my history and at least save once, because I haven't saved yet. Alright. I'm going to go to my materials. I'm going to window, rendering editors, hypershade. Wait a bit, and you should have something like this that pops up. Or yours on the side might pop up over here. And I'm going to go in here, I'm going to select my blend. I'm going to click on my object, right click on my blend, assign material to selection, double click on my blend, should open this area right here, pull up my transparency. This will make it look a lot more like a piece of glass. So if I turn off my wireframe, you can see right through it right now. And I'm going to scroll down here, increase my specular color, bring that all the way up, tighten this, pull this up. The next thing I'm going to do is create a new Lambert. Click on the piece underneath it, double right click on my Lambert, assign material to selection, double click on my Lambert, take my color, make it pure black. We're going to try to match that general feel that you have for your phone. I'm now going to take this glass piece and move it down so it literally touches the black film. I'm going to take this piece now, the black one, I'm going to extrude it down just very slightly. It's a very thin piece. Actually, it's a decently thin piece. I'm going to do the same thing I did for the glass where I cut it in half. And beveled it. So I'm going to go right in there, cut in half, shift right click, bevel edge. This allows me to press both of these and press 3, and they'll both retain their form. And here's my actual screen piece. I'm going to make sure that's merged right there. Merge. And I'm going to clean that geometry up because this doesn't need all these extra edges. So I'm going to double click all these extra edges I really don't need anymore. Delete edge vertex. That goes the same for most of these in here now. So I'm just going to go inside, deleting my edge vertices. Grab my top glass piece and see if I need to do the same. I'll single this out. I don't need a lot of these in-between pieces anymore. There. Even though it's high poly, there's no need to waste. So now there we have this piece. And now if I look at it, it may look like there's no depth between them, but there are. But this is what I mean by a multi-layered piece. Alright, I hope that was useful for you. Don't forget to model the actual camera inside there too. This bottom piece, press 3, it should be nice and smooth.